Thank you for the nice introduction. This already saves me a couple of seconds because I was planning to do that myself. I want to talk to you about three things today. One is the situation in app development as it has evolved since exactly 1 year ago when ChatGPT first hit the scene. The second one is the problem we see specifically with writing with artificial intelligence. We make writing software, so that was, of course, a core concern for us. And the third part will be us showing you a solution for the problem that we see. Does it work or no?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But I was just seeing you gesticulating and I'd never know.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, good. So the third part is a solution that we propose. We don't say we have the solution for all the problems with artificial intelligence, but we solved one problem, I think. So the situation is that 365 days ago exactly, ChatGPT launched, and it was insane to see how everybody was shouting, let's do AI. Every big player feverishly tried to integrate AI into their apps. Practically every startup is now an AI startup. Established apps panicked and integrated ChatGPT within weeks. We've never seen anything like this. They then claimed to have their own artificial intelligence. It was frightening to observe this because most of them just used ChatGPT and then called it whatever their company name was, AI. It then soon turned out that maybe it's not that good an idea because in the race to add ChatGPT to everything, well-established apps largely gave up on their technology, on their design, on their business model, even on their identity. And not unimportant, they gave up on their core vision. All of these apps now sound, look, and work in the same way. And to a certain degree, all of them gave up on letting humans think and act. They all promised, like, you don't need to work anymore. You can just use our thing. Big surprise, apps that added ChatGPT as their central feature woke up one day later as a feature of ChatGPT. AI sort of turned into a black hole for apps. The IA pin that came out a couple of weeks ago proudly said that they don't do apps. They're another ChatGPT product that pretends to be an own operating system. But seeing this in clear terms, we don't do apps, was quite shocking for us because that's what we foresaw in January happening. Because not just startups and unicorns went down the way to add AI to everything. By January, we knew that Microsoft would add ChatGPT to Bing. And soon it said, well, we'll add Teams, we'll add Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. Well, the entire Office suite would run soon ChatGPT. And we asked ourselves, do they need the Office anymore? They could basically integrate all of that stuff into a little field on Windows and, call it a day with the apps. And of course, this worries us. We live from selling apps and, we were imagining soon we would have Nadella and Tim Cook saying like, do we still need apps? Well, for us, if we've learned one thing doing writing apps in the last 30 years is that writing is thinking. If you don't think, you don't write, you just pretend to write. And unfortunately, that happened before AI. But with AI, it's amazing what you can do, in that bullshit field. For us as a company that makes plain text writing apps, adding ChatGPT would have been very easy. We don't have a lot of graphical UI. Most of what you do is writing in our apps. And, it's all text. It's perfect for AI. And everybody around us asked us, when are you going to add ChatGPT? But as I said, writing is thinking, and using AI to write is like taking a moped for your morning run. It's stupid. So the problem that we saw in the industry was tightly linked to what artificial intelligence does. And, reading more experienced thinkers like Floridi, for example, we realized, yeah, what AI does is it makes us stop thinking and it takes over that part. And it does that in the app as well. So we thought maybe we should take a break and study that properly, think about what exactly we can do with AI that helps and doesn't torpedo and undermine what we want. So we knew that we couldn't just sit and wait for the hype to blow over. Unlike the metaverse, blockchain, and AR, AI is very convenient, and convenience wins. We've seen that in the last 20 years. Whenever something is convenient, it doesn't matter how moral it is. Unfortunately, for our more ethical thinkers here, if it's convenient, we don't care if it's good. It's good enough. So we experimented with AI to find out where it helps and improves writing. And here is what we've learned. To write better, think more, not less. In short, we should use IA as a writing assistant. We should not use it to ghost write for us. Because if you let ChatGPT write for you, it may be convenient, but there's a whole zoo of problems that arise from that. ChatGPT, as we know now, a year later, makes lots of silly mistakes, and you will look very silly if you get caught. It speaks in a weird tone, and sure, you can teach it to speak like you, but it never will be really you because it doesn't have your body, it doesn't have your horizon, it doesn't have your experience, it doesn't have your heart and mind. And, the main reason why you shouldn't let robots speak for you is much, much simpler. You don't need to read Kant to understand what's going on, because just try to answer this question. Why should I bother to read what you didn't bother to write? That's the basic question. And when we talk to people, a lot of people say, yeah, but it's convenient. But, they think that for themselves, because it's convenient, it's okay. But no one we talk to said like, well, it's okay if other people do that to us. And yeah, you don't need to, dig into the kategorische Imperativ, I don't know how to say it in English, in the kategorische Imperativ to find out what the problem is. So, but what interested us from an ethical point of view was what exactly is okay and what is not okay when you use AI. And there's a simple test. Ask yourself how you judge someone that uses AI as a spell checker on one side, in one extreme, and AI as a ghostwriter in the other extreme. And there of course are plenty of use cases in between. You can use AI to discuss your text. You can let it help you with certain expressions that are on the tip of your tongue, but you can't exactly find it. We can use it to edit and help you fact check your writing. And now there's an old trick that I've learned in 20 years that I'm making software. Whenever there's a new technology, ask yourself, what corresponds to that new technology in everyday life? And then it's not so hard to judge what's okay and what's not okay. I know that it can be a mistake to say, what is morally established is also ethically good. It's not necessarily like that, but it's a nice pattern to understand how to deal with artificial intelligence. And you ask yourself, what corresponds to that? And what corresponds to you is different to that spectrum of use cases with artificial intelligence is that, yeah, we already use spell checkers. And, in the 80s, maybe some old teachers thought it's a bad idea, but these days we're like, it's fine. We don't use them in primary school because, kids should still learn to write properly. And yes, it's totally advisable to use fact checkers and human editors when you publish something. It's the responsible thing to do. So why not do that also with AI if you don't have editors? Clearly, using dictionaries and thesaurus to find the right expression has never been a crime. It's also a good thing to do. But letting someone else write for you and then pretend that you did it yourself, that's where it gets complicated. That's not okay in this world. It's not okay to quote someone, or it's not okay to quote someone and transcribe it. It's a bit of an academic thing that happens there, but as soon as you pretend you did something but someone else did it, then it's not that. Then you're in a bad region. So when working with humans, the boundaries of what is allowed and what is not are more or less clear. There are rules, protocols, and tools in place to support collaboration between humans, but when it comes to human-machine collaboration, we're not quite ready. This is new, and the tools that we have, when you think about making diffs on GitHub or using words tools for collaboration, that's not really focused writing. So use AI as a writing partner is our take, but be careful when you copy and paste. AI can and will ruin your voice and credibility if you lazily let it write everything in place to write better. You need to think more and not less. And here's how we foresee that process in our apps. We didn't want to be ideological about using AI-generated text. It's up to you how honest you want to be with yourself. AI can say clever things that you want to keep in your notes. There are cases where AI can get us out of a headlock when we just can't find the right expression. But we understood that if you use generated text in your writing, you should use it like a modeling clay. So after pasting, rewrite everything. Ultimately, it's up to you to decide how far you want to go with it, but try your best to use your own expressions doing that. We found that every time you rewrote everything that AI suggested, it sort of got better, it got more real. Current text editors don't allow that. You can compare documents, or you can, risk high blood pressure with Microsoft Word or Google Docs, but we want to keep it simple. That's our thing. So here's what we suggest. When you copy text from AI and paste it into our IA writer, the text is grayed out. You see right away, aha, this is mine, this is the machine. And then when you work with this text, as you write over it, you make it yours. You see, the gray goes away and what you type becomes black. Here's a video that shows.
How can you tell if the text was written by a person or by a robot? Sometimes you can't, but at other times, something just seems off. Using ChatGPT, we often don't even remember ourselves what we borrowed and what we typed. We need to make sure that we know what we say and that we say what we mean. The new IA writer shows you which words you typed and which you pasted. Whether you quote Shakespeare or ChatGPT, IA writer makes it clear. It highlights the text you craft yourself, and it keeps track of your sources, so that your voice is what comes through on the page. For over a decade, IA Writer has helped millions of authors find their voice. With IA Writer 7, we're making sure you keep it.
I spare you the technical details how we did this. It's still plain text. There's no rich text in place. And you can edit your text elsewhere as well and come back, and writer will realize, oh, you've changed it. You only need to tell it, if it was a machine or if it was you that edited it. So, we're pretty proud of this. It's the first time we show it. We've never shown this. We've been keeping this secret for a whole year. And now I can show you another video how it works. But, I see Mr. Floridi, which I'm very, very excited to hear myself. You've been a major inspiration for us doing this, especially your take on what artificial intelligence does to us. Helped us a lot developing this. So thank you all for your attention. And you can, from 6 o'clock, you can go to our website and download a trial and look at the app yourself. And yeah, thank you very much for your attention.